I am 21 years old when I try to access my trust fund and discover it's empty. The banker, Mr. Chen, looks uncomfortable as he slides the statement across his mahogany desk. My mother's trust, the one she established before she died when I was 8, should have $2.3 million in it. The statement shows $47,000. There must be a mistake, I say. I'm afraid not. Ms. Morrison, these withdrawals have been authorized over the past 13 years. He points to line after line of transfers. Legal fees. Educational expenses. Medical costs. All signed by the trustee. My father. But I didn't know about most of these. Your father has full discretionary authority as trustee until you turn 25. That was the term of your mother's will. 25. 4 more years of him controlling money that's supposed to be mine. I look at the medical costs. $180,000 for psychiatric treatment I never received. $65,000 for rehabilitation I never attended. $90,000 for specialists I never saw. My hands start shaking. I need copies of everything, I say. When I was 8, my mother died in a car accident. I remember the funeral. The endless procession of people in black. My father, Jonathan Morrison, standing at the graveside in his perfectly tailored suit, his hand heavy on my shoulder. Everyone said how strong he was. How devoted to his little girl. We'll get through this together, Charlotte, he whispered. I'll take care of you. I promise. And he did. Too well. My father is a partner at Morrison, Sterling and Associates, one of the most prestigious law firms in Chicago. He specializes in estate planning and guardianship law. He knows exactly how to control assets, manipulate legal documents, and position himself as indispensable. After Mom died, he became everything: father, mother, protector, manager. He chose my schools, my friends, my activities. When I wanted to take art classes, he enrolled me in pre-law programs. When I wanted to go to summer camp, he sent me to academic enrichment courses. I'm preparing you for success, he'd say. Your mother would want you to reach your potential. When I was 15, I had my first panic attack. The pressure, the control, the constant monitoring, it all crashed down on me in the middle of a college prep test. I couldn't breathe. The room spun. I thought I was dying. Dad took me to a psychiatrist, Dr. Reynolds, an old colleague of his. Charlotte is experiencing severe anxiety, Dr. Reynolds told him while I sat in the waiting room. I heard them through the thin walls. I'm recommending therapy and possibly medication. How severe? Dad asked. Could this impact her decision-making capacity? A strange question. But Dr. Reynolds answered, at this level? No, just normal teenage anxiety. But if it worsened? Hypothetically? I didn't hear the rest. But I remember thinking it was odd. The therapy helped. I learned coping mechanisms. I got better. But Dad kept me on the medications, anti-anxiety, mood stabilizers long after Dr. Reynolds said I didn't need them. I just want to make sure you're stable, he'd say, watching me take the pills each morning. When I was 18, I got into Northwestern University. Full scholarship. I wanted to live on campus. Dad insisted I stay home. Why pay for housing when you can live here? He reasoned. Besides, I worry about you being alone. What if you have another panic attack? I've been fine for 3 years. But he still treated me like I was fragile. So I commuted. 2 hours a day on the train. Came home every night to his scrutiny. He monitored my bank account, the small allowance he gave me from my mother's estate. He checked my phone records. He knew where I was at all times. I'm not controlling, he'd say when I complained. I'm protecting you. You're all I have left of your mother. But it felt like a cage. A beautiful, suffocating cage. I am 21 when everything changes. It's my birthday. Legally, I should have access to some of my trust fund. Mom's will specify that I'd receive quarterly distributions starting at 21. With full control at 20-5. I go to the bank without telling Dad. I want to check the balance. Start planning my future. Maybe get my own apartment. That's when Mr. Chen shows me the statement. $47,000, left of $2.3 million. I take the documents home and lock myself in my bedroom. I go through every page. Every transaction. The pattern becomes clear. Dad has been systematically draining the trust for 13 years. Small amounts at first, $10,000 here, $15,000 there. Legal fees for estate management. Educational expenses that seem inflated. Medical costs for treatments I don't remember. Then in the past 3 years, larger amounts. $200,000 for residential treatment facility. I was never in residential treatment. $150,000 for specialized medical care. I see regular doctors. Nothing specialized. He's been stealing from me. My mother's money. The money she left to ensure I'd be taken care of. The money that was supposed to give me freedom. He's stolen it. I confront him that night at dinner. I went to the bank today, I say, my voice shaking. I saw the trust fund statements. He doesn't even flinch. Just cuts his steak methodically. Did you? Where did the money go, Dad? I've been managing your mother's estate responsibly. Every expenditure has been for your benefit. I never received psychiatric treatment that cost $180,000. You did. You just don't remember. Your anxiety was quite severe. His voice is calm. Reasonable. Dr. Reynolds can confirm. Dr. Reynolds said I was fine after 6 months. Dr. Reynolds said many things. Memory can be unreliable, Charlotte, especially when you're on medication. The implication hangs in the air. He's suggesting I'm confused, unreliable, mentally unstable. I want an accounting, I say. A full independent accounting of every dollar. He sets down his fork and looks at me. Really looks at me. And for the first time I see something cold in his eyes. You're not well, he says quietly. I can see that. The paranoia. The accusations. This is exactly what Dr. Reynolds warned about. I'm not paranoid. You're becoming unstable. Just like you were at 15. Perhaps we need to revisit your treatment plan. There's nothing wrong with me. Charlotte. He stands up, walks around the table, puts his hand on my shoulder. His grip is firm. I love you. I'm trying to protect you. But if you're going to make wild accusations, if you're going to be a danger to yourself, I'll have to take steps. What steps? He doesn't answer. Just squeezes my shoulder once. Then leaves the room. I sit there alone. And realize he's going to make sure I never get that money. 2 weeks later, Dad files a petition for guardianship. I discover this when a process server shows up at Northwestern's law library where I'm studying. Hands me papers in front of 50 students. Charlotte Morrison? You've been served. I open the envelope with trembling hands. Asterisk petition for appointment of guardian for disabled adult asterisk. My father is asking the court to appoint him as my legal guardian. Claiming I'm mentally incompetent. Incapable of managing my affairs. A danger to myself. The petition includes declarations from Dr. Reynolds, from Dad's colleague at the law firm, from our housekeeper who supposedly witnessed me talking to myself and behaving erratically. All lies, but documented lies. Official lies. Legal lies. There's a hearing scheduled in 10 days. If he wins, he'll have complete control over me. My money. My medical decisions. My freedom. Everything. I can't breathe. The library walls close in. I'm having a panic attack. The first one in 6 years. A student I don't know asks if I'm okay. I barely hear her. I just grab my things and run. I can't go home. I can't face him. I end up at my friend Maya's apartment. We've been study partners since freshman year. She takes one look at me and pulls me inside. What happened? I show her the petition. She reads it, and her expression darkens. This is abuse, she says. Financial abuse. This is Charlotte, you need a lawyer. Like, yesterday, I don't have money for a lawyer. There are legal aid societies. The law school has a clinic. We'll figure it out. Maya is pre-law brilliant and ruthlessly practical. She pulls out her laptop and starts researching while I sit on her couch, shaking. Okay, she says after 20 minutes. Here's what we're dealing with. Your dad is a guardianship attorney. He knows the system inside and out. He's filed in Cook County where he has connections. The Judge Patricia Whitmore, she's ruled on cases his firm has handled before. So I'm screwed. Not necessarily. But you need evidence. Can you prove he stole the money? I have the bank statements. That's a start. What about the medical stuff? Can you prove you didn't receive those treatments? I don't know. I'd need medical records. Get them. All of them. We need to document that you're competent, stable, and being financially exploited. She's right. But I'm exhausted. Terrified. I don't know if I can do this. I believe you, Maya says, looking me in the eye. And we're going to fight this. Those words. I believe you. They crack something open inside me. I cry for an hour. Then I start planning. I move out that night. Pack a bag while Dad's at work, leave a note, and disappear. Maya lets me crash on her couch. I use what little money I have in my personal account, the one Dad doesn't fully control, to retain a lawyer. Elena Rodriguez, from the Northwestern Legal Clinic. She's a third-year law student, sharp as a knife, and she takes my case pro bono as part of her clinic work. Her supervising attorney, Professor Michael Chen, agrees to help. This is going to be hard, Elena warns me. Your father is respected, connected. He's going to paint you as mentally ill and ungrateful. I know. We need to prove 3 things. 1, you're competent. 2, he's stolen from you.
3, his guardianship petition is motivated by financial gain, not your welfare. How?
Documentation. Medical records proving you're stable. Financial forensic analysis proving he embezzled.
Testimony from people who can vouch for your competency. We get to work. First, medical records. I request them from every doctor I've seen.
Most are routine.
But Dr. Reynolds' records are troubling. They describe psychiatric symptoms I never had, treatments I never received. Either he's mistaken my file, or Dad pressured him to falsify records. We request Dad's records as trustee. He fights it, but the court orders production.
When they arrive, a forensic accountant named Sarah Kim examines them. This is embezzlement, Sarah says bluntly. These expenses are fabricated. Look, this invoice for residential treatment is from a facility that doesn't exist. This medical bill is from a doctor who retired 7 years ago.
He's been creating fake documentation. Can you testify to that?
Absolutely.
I also go to a new psychiatrist, Dr. James Park, who has no connection to Dad. He evaluates me thoroughly.
You're anxious, which is understandable given your situation, he says.
But you're not incompetent.
Not even close.
You're articulate, rational, and capable of managing your own affairs.
He writes a detailed report saying exactly that. We also gather character witnesses.
My professors, Maya, my academic advisor.
All willing to testify that I'm stable, brilliant, and fully competent. But Dad isn't idle. He launches a full-scale attack on my credibility. First, he files a motion to compel me to undergo a psychiatric evaluation by a doctor of his choosing. The court grants it. The doctor, Dr. Patricia Walsh, is a hired gun who specializes in testifying for guardianship cases.
She asks leading questions designed to make me sound unstable.
Do you hear voices? No. Do you ever feel like people are watching you?
My father tracks my phone and monitors my accounts, so yes, technically, just yes or no.
Yes, but do you have difficulty managing daily tasks?
No.
Are you employed? I'm a full-time student. So no employment. Do you have independent income?
My father controls my trust fund. So no.
Do you live independently? I'm staying with a friend because my father filed a guardianship petition. So no. She twists everything.
Her report describes me as unemployed, dependent, paranoid, and unable to maintain stable housing.
Dad also gets declarations from his colleagues. From the housekeeper.
From Dr. Reynolds, who doubles down on the fabricated psychiatric history. He claims I threatened him. That I'm unstable and dangerous. That I need protection from myself. He's building a narrative. Loving father.
Trying to protect his troubled daughter. And people believe him. The preliminary hearing is a disaster.
Judge Whitmore clearly respects Dad. She's skeptical of my claims.
Miss Morrison, she says, your father is a respected attorney with no prior history of misconduct. You're a young woman with a documented psychiatric history making serious allegations. Why should I believe you over him? Elena stands. Your Honor, we have forensic evidence of financial fraud. We have testimony from independent medical experts. I'll review the evidence.
But I'm granting a temporary guardianship pending full evaluation.
Temporary guardianship. To my father. Effective immediately. I feel like I'm drowning. Under temporary guardianship. Dad has limited control, but it's enough to make my life hell. He freezes what's left of my trust fund.
Contacts Northwestern and tries to get access to my academic records.
Files motions to compel me to return home for my own safety.
Elena fights every motion.
But it's exhausting. Expensive.
I'm living on Maya's couch, working a part-time job at a coffee shop.
Trying to afford a legal battle against a man with unlimited resources. Then Dad escalates. He shows up at my coffee shop with 2 police officers and a court order.
Charlotte Morrison?
One officer says, yes. We have a court order for your involuntary psychiatric evaluation. Please come with us. What?
No, I'm not Elena.
I call Elena frantically. She arrives 20 minutes later at the hospital where they've taken me. He's claiming you're in crisis, she explains. A 72-hour psychiatric hold. I spend 3 days in a psychiatric ward. It's humiliating. Dehumanizing. I'm evaluated by hospital psychiatrists, who conclude, after spending actual time with me, that there's nothing wrong with me. You're being abused. One doctor tells me quietly. This is legal abuse. I'm documenting that. But the damage is done. Dad uses the hospitalization as evidence of my instability. She was hospitalized, he tells the court. This proves she needs supervision. I'm furious, desperate, terrified he's going to win. Then Sarah, the forensic accountant, makes a breakthrough. Sarah finds the smoking gun. She's been tracing the fake
medical expenses and discovers something damning.
The money Dad withdrew for my treatment didn't go to medical providers. It went to his personal accounts. Then to offshore accounts. Then to investments in his name. He's not just stealing, Sarah says. He's hiding it through a shell corporation. Look, Morrison Family Trust LLC, registered in Delaware. He's the sole owner. He's funneled $1.8 million through this entity. Can you prove it? I have bank records. Corporate filings. Wire transfer receipts. Yes, I can prove it. This is huge. This isn't just guardianship abuse. This is embezzlement, fraud, possibly money laundering. Elena files an emergency motion to dissolve the temporary guardianship. Attaching Sarah's forensic report. We also get a break from an unexpected source. Dr. Reynolds. He reaches out to Elena privately. He's been diagnosed with terminal cancer. He has months to live. And his conscience is eating him. Jonathan Morrison pressured me to falsify Charlotte's records, he admits in a sworn declaration. He wanted documentation to support a claim of mental incompetence. I was wrong to do it. I'm coming forward now to correct the record.
With Dr. Reynolds' confession and Sarah's forensic evidence, the case shifts. The judge orders a full investigation. A guardian ad litem is appointed, an independent attorney to investigate and report to the court. The guardian ad litem,
Margaret O'Brien, is thorough. She interviews everyone, reviews everything,
and her report is damning for Dad.
Jonathan Morrison has systematically defrauded his daughter, she writes. He has stolen nearly $2 million from her trust, falsified medical records,
and attempted to use the guardianship system to maintain control of assets that legally belong to her.
Charlotte Morrison is competent, stable, and the victim of severe financial and emotional abuse.
I recommend immediate dismissal of the
guardianship petition and referral to the state's attorney for criminal investigation. The full guardianship hearing becomes a trial. Dad's attorney tries to discredit everyone. Sarah's analysis. Dr. Reynolds' confession. My own testimony. But the evidence is overwhelming. Sarah testifies about the embezzlement.
Dr. Park testifies about my
competency. Dr. Reynolds appears via video. He's too ill to attend in person and admits to falsifying records at Dad's
request. I testify too. I tell the court everything.
The control. The monitoring.
The fake medical expenses. The theft. Dad's attorney tries to break me.
Miss Morrison, isn't it true you have a history of mental illness? I had anxiety as a teenager. I received treatment. I recovered.
Isn't it true you've been hospitalized multiple times?
Once, because my father had me involuntarily committed under false pretenses. Isn't it true you're unemployed and living on a friend's couch? Because my father stole my inheritance and is trying to control my life. The attorney smirks. And isn't it convenient that everyone who disagrees with you is lying, but you're telling the truth? I look at the judge. Your Honor, I have bank records. Forensic analysis.
Expert testimony.
My father has declarations from people he's paid or pressured. Who's more credible? The judge listens to 5 days of testimony. Then she rules. I find that Jonathan Morrison has engaged in systematic financial exploitation of his daughter. He has falsified records, embezzled trust funds, and abused the guardianship process. The petition for guardianship is denied.
The temporary guardianship is dissolved immediately.
I am referring this matter to the Cook County State's Attorney for criminal investigation. She looks at my father. Mr. Morrison, you are an officer of the court. Your conduct is reprehensible.
I am recommending to the Illinois Bar Association that they investigate your law license.
Dad's face is stone, but his hands shake. He doesn't look at me as he leaves the courtroom. The
criminal investigation moves quickly once the FBI gets involved. The offshore accounts
trigger federal jurisdiction. Dad is indicted on 15 counts. Wire fraud, embezzlement, money laundering, and forgery. He fights it. Hires the best criminal defense attorneys.
But the evidence is ironclad. The trial lasts 3 weeks.
I testify again. So does Sarah. Dr. Reynolds, via video deposition, he dies before trial.
And a parade of financial experts. The jury convicts on all counts. Dad is sentenced to 8 years in federal prison and ordered to pay $1.8 million in restitution plus interest and penalties. The Illinois Bar Association disbars him. Morrison, Sterling and Associates quietly removes his name from the firm. He appeals, loses. I get my money back.
Most of it, anyway. After legal fees and forensic accounting costs, I have about $1.6 million left. It's not about the money anymore. It's about the principle. I am 26 years old, and I'm drinking coffee in my own apartment. I graduated from Northwestern Law School last year, top 10% of my class.
I'm now an associate at a firm that specializes in elder law and guardianship, abuse fighting, the kind of abuse my father perpetrated. I've represented 12 clients in guardianship disputes.
Won 9 cases. Helped people escape from controlling family members who use the legal system as a weapon. I've also started a nonprofit, the Charlotte Morrison Foundation for Guardianship Reform. We lobby for stronger oversight, better protections, and accountability in the guardianship system.
I'm engaged to a software engineer named
David, who I met at a conference on legal technology. He knows my whole story. He's patient with my hypervigilance, my trust issues, my need for financial independence.
You're allowed to depend on people sometimes, he tells me. I'm learning. Maya is in her first year at a big law firm. We still meet for coffee every Sunday.
She's my best friend. My sister, really. Dr. Park still sees me monthly.
Mostly we just talk about normal life stress now, work, relationships, wedding planning. I am okay.
Better than okay. My father got out of prison 2 months ago. Served 6 years with good behavior. He sent me a letter. I didn't open it.
Just forwarded it to my attorney. I have a Google alert for his name.
He's working as a paralegal now, can't practice law anymore. He's not allowed to contact me per the terms of his release.
Sometimes I wonder if he understands what he did. If he feels remorse. If he ever loved me. Or if I was always just an asset to control. Then I remember, it doesn't matter, he doesn't define me anymore. Last week, a young man came to my office.
22 years old. His mother filed for guardianship, claiming he's incompetent.
He has documentation showing she's been stealing his disability payments.
I don't know what to do, he said.
Everyone believes her. I feel crazy. I looked at him and saw myself 5 years ago.
You're not crazy, I told him.
I believe you. And I'm going to help you.
Because that's what I do now. I take the inheritance my mother left me, the inheritance I fought to reclaim,
and I use it to help other people fight back. My father tried to trap me.
To control me.
To make me believe I was incompetent and helpless. Instead,
he taught me exactly how predators operate, and now I use that knowledge to stop them. I'm 26 years old.
I have my freedom. My career.
My life.
And I built it all from the ashes of my father's betrayal. That's the real inheritance.